Hello there, guitar lovers of the internet. Ollie Royer here, and I'm going to call it right now. I'm sitting next to what is probably the best amp release of 2022. Say hello to the brand new Blackstar St. James amplifier. This is sort of the culmination of many years of research on Blackstar's behalf, making great amplifiers and, like I said, bringing some brand new design elements which really put this thing over the top for me. And again, give it features which make it worthy of such a title. So in this video, we're going to talk about its features. We're going to have a listen to it, and basically we're just going to hear about why I think this thing is so great, and hopefully you think it's great as well. So without any further ado, let's jump in. The St. James amplifier is available in two different configurations with two different wirings. We can get it as a 6L6, which is designed to be the more high gain amplifier. This is the 6L6, and you can also get the EL34. For me personally, I like to think 6L6 USA, EL34 British. So for me, British a little bit darker with maybe a little bit more bite to the high frequencies. 6L6 a little bit more saturation in those mid frequencies. So yes, you can get it as a 50-watt combo. And you can also get it as a 50-watt head with a matching vertical 212. I'll chuck the EL34 and the different versions up on the screen. You'll see they have two distinct looks. Very beautiful aesthetic amplifiers as well. And the most important feature that I'm going to say for this amplifier is the built-in reactive load. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, basically a tube amplifier, we've got a lot of power going through this circuit. Typically, if you turn this on without having it plugged into speakers, it's going to have all this power and nowhere to put it. But what a reactive load is, basically, it gives that circuit somewhere to go, channels it out, and lets you basically go from the amplifier into your interface, into whatever you want to record with, and get the tones out. So at the moment, you're not even hearing this bad boy mic'd up. You're hearing it going out of its, you're hearing it going out of the reactive load into my Focusrite Scarlett interface, and hearing the great tones that this bad boy can give you. Which is great. For me personally, recording, doing demos, I have what's called a Boss Wazar Tube amp expander. This is an expensive separate piece of gear that you need to purchase in order to do recordings. And what I love is that Blackstar have built this into the amplifier. It's extremely powerful. You can use it using an XLR connection, which is what I'm doing at the moment. You can use 1/4 inch. You can even plug your headphones in just if you want to jam at home. So this makes it hugely powerful for whether you're recording at home, whether you're just jamming at home, whether you're gigging at a club. You don't want to necessarily have to crank it up on stage, or most importantly, the sound guy probably doesn't want you to have to crank it up on stage. You can go straight out of here into the front of house, and here's a really cool thing, have 3 different cab emulations saved onto this, which you can program. You can use the Blackstar, I believe it's the Architect software, And basically you can download different patches from the online community, you can make your own patches, and you can design it exactly how you want it. This is more powerful than impulse response, which is just a snapshot, it's fixed. This allows you to select different cabinets, so whether you want to use a 112, a 212, a 412, different kinds of speakers, whether you want to use a stereo setup, whether you want to use mono, what kind of room the cabinet is in, where the microphone is, what kind of microphone. So if you really, really want to get into it, you absolutely can. But if you don't want to, if you're like me and you typically just like to plug in and find a sound that you like with what's built in, it's great in that regard as well. So we have 3 different settings that we can save onto the amplifier. At the moment you're hearing, I believe it's the balanced 412 patch. So 412, a 412 cab setup, quite big. Now what I can do, I can access one of those 3 different patches you can save onto this just with flicking a switch on the back. So I'm going to flick that. So this has taken me to the ambient combos rig that's automatically saved onto the amplifier. Which has changed the vibe entirely. So again, whether it's on the fly, whether you're trying to record, a great sounding demo at home, or even a professional studio quality recording, easy as that to change it. And then I can go into the 3rd one as well. It's that simple. I'm going to go back to my first one. So for me, that's probably the most important defining factor of this new amplifier. Now let's talk about how lightweight these guys are as well. Previously, a 50-watt Blackstar amplifier, a combo. I used to have an HT Stage 60, the original Mark 1. Great amplifier, but it weighed a ton. I ended up getting rid of it because it was too heavy. This combo here weighs 11 kilos, which I believe makes it one of the lightest 50-watt tube amplifiers on the market, if not the lightest. I would liken it to, picking up a Boss Katana or something, which is pretty insane when you think about it. The head also weighs just 6 kilos, which, again, loading in and out of gigs, which, if you want to use all analog tube amplifiers, normally, typically, you would have to sacrifice. Unless you have roadies, unless you have the absolute pleasure of having people to load in for you, there's going to be a sacrifice, which is why a lot of people nowadays are using digital gear. They just have the tiny little thing, they pop it on the floor, and it does the job. For those of you that just aren't quite ready to let go of a tube amplifier, we have Blackstar to thank. Now how they've done that, they use a candle nut ply cabinet on these, which is basically, it's designed to give you great acoustic resonance, which, let me just say, this amplifier can seriously make some serious volume, basically. So they've done that with the cabinet. In terms of the speaker, we have a specially designed speaker from Celestion, which is the Zephyr. It's a 12-inch speaker and it's based off a vintage 30, but again designed to be more lightweight, which is going to make the amplifier more portable and be easier on your back, basically. I'm not sure if this is a contributing factor to it being lightweight, but this amplifier also has a universal power supply, which is an absolute godsend. It means you can plug it in wherever you want and it's not going to blow up. Whatever voltage, you can take it to America, you can take it to Australia, the UK, anywhere, and have a good time and not have to worry about any of that. Alright, so now that we've spoken about, some of the main features which I think are great on this amplifier, let's take a proper listen to it and let's talk about the controls we have on the top of the amplifier, if it's the combo, or on the front, if it's the head version. So we have power and we have standby. Of course, this is pretty standard for tube amplifiers. What's cool is, of course, you can use it for silent recording, just like I'm doing at the moment. We also have master volume. It is good to have master volume as well as individual channel volume so that you can, dictate how loud it's going to be and how broken up you want it to be. Next to the master, we also have our power setting. This is something that I didn't mention earlier, actually. We can use this guy at the full 50 watts. We can run it at 2 watts, so great for if you're like me. If you were going to not use the silent recording option or plug your headphones in, bringing it down to 2 watts allows you to sort of, get the tubes flowing, but without upsetting the neighbors, let's just call it that. What's interesting is that we also have a sag setting, which is in between 2 and 50 watts. Basically, I believe that decreases the wattage, which gives it more of like an old school vibe, changes the compression. To be honest, I think this is something that you can probably hear more when you have the actual speaker used and you have it at quite loud volumes. Just from a bit of playing around, I can't really get a huge difference out of it. But if someone from Blackstar watches this, please feel free to correct me in the comments. Great feature there. Built-in digital reverb. I've got it on just to splash at the moment about 12 o'clock. I can crank it up, probably going to get a bit messy. Or I can have it absolutely dry, which if you're like me, you don't really like to do that, but for the sake of the demo, let's have a listen. Ooh, it's like being naked. All right, let's put it back on. That's better. Okay, so there's our reverb, and then we have a 3-way EQ. Treble, middle, bass. We all know what EQ does. For the purpose of the demo, I've just got everything at 12 o'clock to give you a nice, just plain sound. Now we get to the volume and gain controls. So I'm going to take it back to channel 1 now, and let's have a listen to the clean sound. Now I've just changed to clean by flicking the switch on the amplifier. You can also do this via the included foot switch. More on that later. So, clean. So just a beautiful, beautiful clean sound. Blackstar are of course known for their nice boutique level amplifiers as well. So it's great to sort of have the coming together of two worlds here with that high gain stuff we heard before and nice clean sounds. As mentioned before, we have a master volume and an individual volume control. So if I want to bring the master up, that's going to allow us to maintain a cleaner sound. Which is great, and if we want to as well, we can also bring the master back down and bring up the volume for channel 1, which is going to break it up a bit more. So yeah, what can I say? Love a good clean sound, and again, you can jump between the two different channels by using the foot switch. Now let's take things back to channel 2. So that's great, but if we want a little bit more gain, we can actually access the second voice. again by flicking the switch or pressing the foot switch. And, you know, imagine going from that lovely acoustic clean that we had before to that, just by pressing 2 buttons. So again, super versatile amplifier and easy to get a good sound of as well. So believe it or not, that's all of the controls for the front of the amplifier. I'll just go over the back panel quickly as well, just to make sure we have everything covered. So we do have a USB audio plug. So basically that's going to allow us to connect to a computer and upload and edit different patches for the Blackstar Architect software that I spoke about before. We also have the where you can plug the foot switch in, which is going to allow you to access those different features before. We also have an effects loop, which is great if you want to use, you know, 4-cable method or plug anything into the effects loop, such as modulation, so that it doesn't, you know, get gained up if you're using distortion. As mentioned before, you then have a switch that allows you to access the 3 different you know, settings from the Blackstar Architect software, and then you have your 1/4 inch or headphone output or a balanced jack. Then next to that you have different speaker outputs depending on where you want to have it set. If you don't want to have it connected, if you want to have it going into a separate cabinet for a little bit more volume. And yeah, like I said, it's not a super complicated amplifier. You can dig into it a little bit more if you want to, you know, access different features, develop the sound, and really hone it to how you want to have it. But otherwise, this amplifier is great whether you're experienced, whether you're a complete beginner, just looking to get a good quality tube amp that's lightweight and versatile. Clean sounds, gain sounds, this guy has it all with a built-in beautiful reverb as well. So that's basically it. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. I'm always happy to help. Otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a thumbs up or even to subscribe. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out today, guys. My name is Ollie Royer, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.